what's up? It's Richie here with Saturday Football. This is your Week 12 primetime college football games. There's only a few left of them, so let's go where game day is going this week. Oklahoma at Baylor. Oklahoma, they're coming off a close win against Iowa State, a shootout. They beat them 42-41. Jalen Hurts still in a Heisman race in my mind. 273 passing, 3 touchdowns, plus 68 rushing, and 2 touchdowns. Kennedy Brooks ran for 132 and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 8 catches, 167 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They put up 499 yards. They did turn her over twice. Baylor, they're one of the surprise teams this year. They are still undefeated, 9-0. Baylor is 13th in the last college football poll. Maybe they can have a Cinderella year as well, like Minnesota is doing. Maybe they can finish out undefeated. If they get this win, this should propel them pretty high in the next ranking, I think. Baylor's coming off a close win against TCU in triple overtime, 29-23. Charlie Brewer passed for 195, 2 touchdowns, ran for 41 and a touchdown. They only had 294 yards and turnover twice. The defense still had 3 sacks, 3 turnovers in that game. And that close win against TCU, I like Baylor. I like Oklahoma, though. I think it's Boomer sooner. I think Oklahoma wins. Oklahoma's favored by 10. I think it might be closer than that. It should be pretty high scoring, though. I'm going to go Oklahoma, though. All right, Appalachian State and Georgia State. Big game for the Sun Belt. Appalachian State, they got to number 25 a few weeks ago. Lost to Georgia Southern. Fell out of the ranking. Then last week, they beat South Carolina from the SEC. So Appalachian State is back in the ranking at number 25. Georgia State, they lost last week to Louisiana Monroe. And more importantly, they lost their quarterback, Dan Ellington. He may or may not play. He won't play. I don't think he'll play this weekend. He may be out for a while, which kind of sucks. Georgia State's having a really, really good year. They lost, though, like I said, to Louisiana Monroe 45-31. Ellington, when he did play, passed for 42 yards, ran for 91 and a touchdown. Trey Barnett, 190 rushing, 2 touchdowns. Destin Coates, 119 rushing and a touchdown. They ran for 414 yards. Cornelius Brown, the backup quarterback who came in, he was 8 of 18, 80 yards and 14 rushing. They need to get all that running game going against Appalachian State if they want to win. Appalachian State, they beat South Carolina at 20-15. It was a defensive game. They only had 202 yards. Their defense had 3 sacks and an interception return for a touchdown and held on late for a huge win. It's their second win this year against Power 5 teams. They beat a decent North Carolina team earlier this year and beat South Carolina as well. I'm going to go Appalachian State here. I really like their team, especially with Dan Ellington out for Georgia State. Even if he was playing, I still might go Appalachian State, but Georgia State, if they got it, like I said, if they want a chance, they need to get that running game going, which they can. But I think Appalachian State should get it here. It might be high scoring. Over-under here is like 62.5, which means it should be kind of a high scoring game, and I agree with that. So I'll go App State. Alright, South Carolina, Texas A&M. South Carolina is 4-6. They don't win the last 2 games to try to win. They probably won't. South Carolina lost to App State 20-15. Ryan Helinski, 325 passing, a touchdown, a pick. They only ran for 21 yards. You gotta get that going against A&M if they want to win. A&M 6-3, coming off a bye. The last game was a 45-14 win over Texas San Antonio. Kellen Mond, 211 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing. Isaiah Spilla, 217 rushing, 3 touchdowns. They put up 505 yards. Defense had 4 sacks, only allowed 231 total yards. I'm going to go Texas A&M here. South Carolina, I mean, Appalachian State's really good, and this may be close, but Texas A&M I just think is better overall there. All right, Louisville and NC State, pretty big for the ACC. Louisville's 5-4. They just need one more win in the last 3 games to get to a bowl. NC State, they've kind of fallen off the last few games, but they're still 4-5. If they want to get to a bowl, they're going to win 2 of the last 3. So I feel like if NC State loses this probably will eliminate them, considering who they have their last 2 games. Louisville, both teams lost pretty badly, though. Louisville lost 52-27 in Miami. Michael Cunningham passed for 219, 2 touchdowns, ran for 122. Atwell, 6 catches, 142 and a touchdown. They put up 496 yards, but they turned over 3 times in that game. Whereas NC State just got killed by Clemson, 55-10. Devin Leary, not good, 14-29, 166. They only had 290 yards of offense. They turned over 4 times. Their one bright spot of the night was Zonovan Knight. He actually ran for 139 yards and a touchdown. I think this might be kind of close. Could be kind of pretty high scoring. That being said, I'm going to go Louisville here overall. I think Louisville is a better. Their quarterback play, I think, has been better lately than NC State. I think NC State made a big mistake earlier in the year when they went away from Matthew McKay. I'm not sure why they did. I don't think he was hurt. Maybe he was, but that's neither here nor there. I think Louisville should win. All right, Arizona State and Oregon State, big for bowl eligibility. Arizona State's 5-4. They need one more win to try to get to a game. Oregon State, they're actually 4-5. They need 2 of their last 3 to try to get to a bowl. Arizona State, those coming off a close loss to USC, 31-26. Jaden Daniels was hurt there. He may or may not be back against Oregon State. I'm not sure. But Joey Yellen, first start, played pretty well. 292 passing, 4 touchdown passes. He did throw 2 picks, including one late that may while they're driving. They only ran for 47 yards. They turned over 3 times. They forced 2 turnovers in that game. Or Oregon State, they didn't show up very well against Washington. They lost 19-7, so their defense played okay, but their offense was terrible. Luton, 88 passing yards and a pick. They only had 119 total yards. Their defense, 2 turnovers and a pick 6 in that game, and that was it. I think this may be a high-scoring game. I think this will be a shootout. This is hard for me, but I'm going to go Arizona State. Even with Yellen showed he can play, so I'm going to go Arizona State there. All right, UCLA and Utah, pretty big for the South. UCLA is 4-5 overall, but they're 4-2 against Pac-12. Utah is leading the Pac-12 South. They're only 1 game behind, so if UCLA can get this big upset, UCLA can be right in there for the Pac-12 championship. UCLA coming off a 31-14 win over Colorado. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 226 passing, 2 touchdowns plus 38. Joshua Kelly ran for 126 and 2 touchdowns. Defense had 4 sacks in that game and only allowed 283 yards. Whereas Utah, they're coming off a bye. Their last game was a big win over Washington, 33-28. Huntley passed for 284 and 1 touchdown and ran for 1. Zach Moss ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. Defense had 3 turnovers, including a pick 6 in that game. UCLA has been improved, but Utah has been pretty consistently good all year. Offense, defense, they're hot. They're 7 in the college football ranking. Maybe they can sneak their way into that college football playoff. Who knows? I'm gonna go with Utah. It says Utah by 21. Maybe. It depends on what UCLA team we get. UCLA is so inconsistent, but I still think Utah should come out with the victory in the end there. All right, then you go to the Mountain West. New Mexico taking on Boise State. New Mexico, they had their game postponed last week because one of their players unfortunately passed away. So they're kind of coming off a bye. The last game was a 21-10 loss to Nevada. Tavaka Tuiated passed for 237. They put it 346. It was just kind of a ho-cum loss. They didn't play especially bad. Their defense was fine. It was just sort of Nevada just won. Boise State, they had a huge win against Wyoming in overtime. They beat them 20-17. Chase Cord started in place of Hank Bachmeier, passed for 190 and a touchdown. They only had 285 yards. They turned it over twice. Defense had 3 sacks in that close win. I'm not sure if Bachmeier is going to play. I'm not sure it'll matter a whole lot. I think Boise State should be able to beat New Mexico. I mean, New Mexico can move the ball pretty decently, but I'm going to go Boise State there. All right, Arizona and Oregon. Oregon's number 6 in that playoff ranking. They're on 2 spots out of 4. They want to keep winning. Arizona needs to win 2 of the last 3 just to get to a bowl game. Arizona's coming off a bye. They got killed by Oregon State 56-38. Khalil Tate passed for 109. Grant Gunnell came in, passed for 269, 2 touchdowns. They actually did put up 526 yards. Their defense had 3 sacks. Oregon's came off a bye. They had a really nice win against USC. They beat them 56-24. Justin Herbert, 225 passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Jawan Johnson, 7 catches, 106 yards and 3 touchdowns. They had 12 penalties in that game, and Arizona is a potent offense for sure, whether Khalil Tate's in there or not. He's still one of the best running backs in the country, and J.J. Taylor. So if Oregon wants to win, they might have to survive a shootout and not commit penalties. Their defense, though, played well against a strong USC offense. Oregon State did 3 sacks, 4 turnovers, an interception return for a touchdown, and a kick return for a touchdown. I think this will be pretty high scoring. Line is Oregon by 27.5. That's kind of high because the over-under is 68. That's really high. I think it'll be close than that, but I will say Oregon wins. Maybe by 17 or so, not by 28. But I got Oregon there. It should be a pretty fun game. Then the final game of the night, again another big game in the Pac-12. USC is 6-4. California is 5-4. Cal's trying to get to a bowl. USC is trying to get to the Pac-12 title game. USC, they are coming off a nice victory against Arizona State, 31-26. Keaton Slovis, 432 passing yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 receptions, 173 yards and a touchdown. I think one of them was like a 95-yarder. Michael Pittman Jr., 13 catches, 146 yards. They put up 547 yards, a turnover twice. Their defense forced 3 turnovers in that close win against Arizona State. Cal's coming off a pretty big win over Washington State. They beat them 33-20. Devin Monster played really well. 230 passes and 3 touchdowns, plus 43 rushing yards and a touchdown. They put up 426 yards. Their defense forced 2 turnovers. I think so. This will be pretty close. Cal is a really good defense. USC is shown with Slovis as a really good offense. The line is 6.5, and it seems about right. I'm going to go USC here in should be a pretty good game, but I think Slovis on offense will be the difference in the end there. Alright, so those are my picks and my previews and all that stuff for my primetime games. Check out all my other stuff for my NFL games and midday and noon games and all that.